3 friends, 1 university, and a decision that would ruin their lives forever. Tundday, Malik, and Solah came from poor families. They all dreamed of graduating, getting good jobs, and helping their families escape poverty. But reality was cruel. Some nights they slept hungry. Sometimes they were sent out of class because they hadn't paid their school fees. Universities slowly stopped feeling like opportunity and started feeling like survival. One evening, Malik ran into an old-time friend at a small restaurant near campus. They hadn't seen each other in years. They talked for a while, laughed about old memories, and then went their separate ways. Later that night, Malik returned to the hostel carrying bags of food, groceries, and small gifts his friend had given him. Tundday and Solah were shocked. They had never seen Malik come home with that much food before. "Where did you get all this?" Solah asked. Malik explained he had run into an old friend who was doing well for himself. Tundday smiled. "Then you should go visit him. Maybe he can help you find a way to make money." A few days later, Malik visited the friend at his house. The house was quiet. His friend shut the door and lowered his voice. "I didn't want to talk about this in public." Then he revealed the secret. Illegal buyers were paying $7,000 for a complete human skeleton. All someone had to do was collect them from graveyards. Malik thought it was crazy, but the money sounded real. That night he told Tundday and Solah. Immediately, they refused. "You want us to rob graves?" Tundday asked. "That's madness," Solah said. But then Malik said the number. $7,000 for 1 skeleton. The room went silent. $7,000 could solve all their problems. Slowly, desperation won. A week later, the 3 friends stood inside a graveyard at midnight, holding shovels. That was the beginning of their nightmare. Night after night, they dug up graves and sold skeletons. And the man wasn't lying. Each skeleton brought them $7,000. Life changed quickly. They paid their school fees. They ate proper meals. For the first time in months, they felt safe. Until the night they found the chained grave. It stood deep in the corner of the graveyard, wrapped in heavy rusted chains, strange symbols carved into the stone. They should have left it alone. But Malik said something that sealed their fate. "If normal skeletons are worth $7,000, imagine what this one is worth." So they broke the chains, and they dug. Inside the grave was the skeleton of an old Reverend Father. His name was Reverend Father Damian. But what they didn't know was the terrifying story behind that grave. Years before his death, Reverend Damian was known as a holy and respected man of God. People came from far away for his prayers. But Damian wanted something more. He wanted power, real power, the kind that would allow him to perform miracles and become famous. It came from something else, something evil. Slowly, the power began to control him. His miracles turned dangerous. Strange things started happening around him. People began to suspect something was wrong. The church leaders eventually discovered the truth. A powerful demon had taken control of him. They performed an exorcism to remove the spirit, but the demon was too strong. They couldn't destroy it. So they made a desperate decision. They trapped the demon inside Damian's body. Then they buried him deep in the graveyard. They wrapped his coffin in heavy chains to keep the demon sealed forever, and for years. The chains held, until 3 desperate university students came looking for money, and broke them. That night, they woke up at 3 a.m. They heard something dragging across the floor. Chains. Then they saw a tall shadow standing at the foot of their beds, wrapped in rusted chains. The figure whispered, "You freed what was meant to stay buried." The morning after the first encounter, Tundday, Malik, and Solah met in their hostel room. None of them slept. They looked at each other in silence. Then Malik spoke first. "You guys, did you see it too?" Tundday slowly nodded. Solah's face went pale. "All night," he whispered. "I saw the same thing. A tall shadow, wrapped in chains, standing in the corner of the room, watching them." That's when they realized something terrifying. All 3 of them could see the demon now. Solah panicked. "We need help," he said immediately. "This is not normal. We should go to a prophet or pastor." But Malik shook his head. "No," Tundday agreed. "If we tell anyone, the curse will leave us and follow the person we tell." They had already seen it happen once, so they made a decision. They would keep the secret between the 3 of them. But Solah was too afraid. Later that day, he secretly went to see a prophet in town. He told the prophet everything. The grave, the chained coffin, the demon. The prophet listened carefully, then smiled. "Don't worry," he said confidently. "I can handle it." But the prophet didn't realize something. The moment Solah told him the story, the curse moved. That night, Solah woke up to the sound of chains dragging across the floor. The shadow appeared beside his bed, but this time it spoke differently. "You tried to escape!" Solah screamed, but no one heard him. The next morning, Solah was found dead in his room, and the demon moved on to the next person who knew the story, the prophet. But the prophet was a fraud. When the demon appeared to him that night, he had no power to stop it. By morning, he was dead too. Now only two friends remained, Malik and Tundday. But fear was already breaking them apart. Malik couldn't handle it anymore. One night he told his girlfriend everything. He needed comfort, someone to believe him, someone to help him. The moment the words left his mouth, the demon appeared behind him. Malik never even saw it coming. By morning, Malik was dead. And the curse moved to the next person, his girlfriend. She lasted only 2 nights. After that, she was found dead in her apartment. Now only one person remained, Tundday. After the deaths of Solah, Malik, and Malik's girlfriend, only one person remained, Tundday. But things quickly got worse. The police discovered Malik's body and realized Tundday was the last person who had seen him alive. So they arrested him. At the station, the junior officers interrogated him for hours. "What happened to Malik? Why were you the last person with him? Did you kill him?" But Tundday barely spoke, not because he didn't want to, but because he was afraid. Finally, one officer slammed the table in frustration. "Why won't you talk?" Tundday slowly looked up. His voice was shaking. "I can't tell you." The officers were furious. They stepped outside the room and went to call their supervisor. A few minutes later, the senior officer entered the interrogation room. He sat across from Tundday calmly. "Listen," he said. "My officers say you refuse to talk." Tundday looked at him with tired eyes. "I'm not refusing," he said quietly. "I just can't tell you." The supervisor frowned. "Why not?" Tundday hesitated. Then he whispered something that confused the officer. "Because I don't want you to die." The room went silent. The supervisor studied Tundday's face carefully. Then he leaned forward. "Explain." Tundday shook his head. "If I tell you, it will follow you next." The officer stared at him for a moment. Then something strange happened. Instead of getting angry, the supervisor stood up and left the room quietly. An hour later, he returned. But he wasn't alone. An old man walked in behind him. The supervisor spoke calmly. "This is my father. He's a spiritualist." Tundday's heart began racing. The old man sat down slowly. He looked directly at Tundday. "You opened a grave that should have remained sealed," he said. Tundday froze. He hadn't even told the story yet. The old man continued. "The chained Reverend Father, and the demon trapped inside him." Tundday realized something. This man already knew. And because he already knew, the curse would not move to him. The spiritualist turned to the supervisor. "We must end this tonight." Later that night, they prepared a ritual room. In the middle of the room stood a large mirror. The spiritualist gave Tundday simple instructions. "When the demon appears, do not run. Let it see its shadow." Tundday didn't understand, but he trusted him. At exactly 3 a.m., the sound returned. Clink, clink, clink. Chains dragging across the floor. The demon appeared behind Tundday, its body wrapped in rusted chains, its eyes fixed on him. But when it saw its shadow reflected in the mirror, something changed. The demon screamed violently as its body was pulled into the mirror. The spiritualist raised an iron rod. "Now it is trapped!" He smashed the mirror with all his strength. The glass shattered across the floor. The demon's scream echoed one last time. Then everything went silent. The curse was finally broken. Tundday was released the next day. The police could never prove he killed anyone. But even today, Tundday still wakes up sometimes at 3 a.m. just to listen carefully, because sometimes In the quiet of the night, he still thinks he hears something faint. Clink, clink, clink. Chains